Code is stronger than Boruto and Kawaki combined, which only means that Kishimoto has been fooling us intentionally. But that's only if the second theory out of the 3 in this video is true. So first of all, let's get the obvious theory out of the way. Boruto is the one who scarred Code's eye. This is the most popular theory out right now, and this is simply due to the large amount of hints that Kishimoto has put throughout the first chapter of the series. The first obvious clue is that Code has a scar, which is where the theory begins. Second, in Code's conversation with Sarada, he flat out tells us that he has met Boruto in the timeskip. He confirms it by saying that he knows that Boruto has not been in the village for 3 years, and he adds that he has been chasing Boruto for 2 years. The words that Code is using is quite specific, and it lets us know that Code has met Boruto in the timeskip. And this is where all the theories of Boruto giving Code the scar begins, as Code confirms that they have met in the timeskip. The belief that Boruto gave Code his scar is heightened when Boruto stepped on Code's eye, which people view as a villainistic move where the villain steps on the place where they have hurt their opponent previously. And we see characters like Frieza do this time after time. But you have probably heard this theory over and over again, and it may seem to you like the most obvious theory. This is the exact problem that I have with this theory. Just like how everyone thought it was so obvious that it was Boruto's eyes that Momoshiki was referring to, everyone thinks that it is so obvious that Code got his scar from Boruto, which makes me believe that this is a red herring, meaning that Kishimoto is intentionally trying to mislead us into thinking that Boruto gave Code his scar. And that's not the only red herring that I believe Kishimoto is using, as I feel like we are intentionally being made to believe that Code is just weak and a professional loser. And even though Code is not that smart, he is not that dumb. And before you crucify me in the comment section, let me show you what I mean. Code stated he believed that he could take down Naruto in a 1v1, but even though he knew he had those capabilities, he wanted to get his limiters removed first before attempting to kill Naruto. We know that his plans don't come to fruition, but at face value, this is not a dumb idea, which is why I believe that when Code met Boruto in the timeskip and attempted to kill him, he may have realized that he couldn't. This may be because Sasuke was also helping in the fight, or that Boruto trained and his ability to use Moshiki's powers drastically increased. Whatever the reason, Code couldn't take down Boruto in the timeskip. This is what I believe caused Code to ascend to new levels of power, which has now allowed him to be stronger than Kawaki and Boruto. But that may be a bit of a stretch. Nevertheless, Code has gotten stronger in the timeskip, and this is something we already know that he was on the path towards achieving, as ever since chapter 71 when he got kicked out of his group with Ida and Damon, he has been on a path of revenge, and revenge requires power, and power is exactly what Code got in the timeskip. But how exactly did Code get this strong? This is where we have to discuss the second theory of this video, which has to do with the Ten Tails. We already know that ever since chapter 72, Code has been mass producing his Claw Grime army, which comes from the Ten Tails. Code did this because he feared that Boruto and Kawaki might come to Ishiki's palace and maybe use the Ten Tails for their own bidding. So he split them into a smaller and more useful size, and it does seem like he has fully turned the Ten Tails into a Claw Grime army, as he had 3 years to do so, and his army seems to have reached over thousands of Claw Grimes, as stated by the Leaf Police Force. But if you pay close attention, you would realize that the Ten Tails possesses a dojutsu of its own, which is called the Rene Sharingan. But I don't know if this name is canon, which means that one of the Claw Grimes in his army could have inherited that dojutsu. That's what I believed at first, but I don't think that's the case anymore because of the scar that we see Code have in the timeskip. If you pay close attention to the Naruto series, every person who has a scar tends to have a dojutsu or receives one later on. We see that with Kakashi and Boruto, and I believe that that could be the case for Code, where Code got a scar and replaced his lost eye with the Ten Tails Rene Sharingan. However, that still doesn't answer the question of who gave Code his scar. Instead of Boruto giving Code his scar, I believe that the Ten Tails gave Code the scar that we see him have in the timeskip. As we have seen time after time that controlling the Ten Tails is a task that is not easy at all. Madara and Obito had trouble controlling it, and even Jigen had to restrict its movement using the chakra rods. Which is why I believe that Code got a scar while he was turning the Ten Tails into Claw Grimes, and ended up getting his eye scarred and losing his eye in the process. We see this happen all the time. Kakashi lost his eye and Obito gave him a new one. Boruto lost his eye, and in the timeskip we see him with his Jogan. This will be the same with Code, who lost his eye and now took the Ren Sharingan and put it into his eye. This has to be the case because, as I have said, I don't believe Code is that dumb, as he has always been a realist. After losing to Damien, he had no problem admitting that he was outclassed by Damien. He doesn't lie to himself, which is why I believe when he fought Boruto in the Timeskip and realized he was not able to take him down, he would have done something to make sure that he was strong enough to beat him the next time he encountered him. This may be why he came to the village to lure Boruto, and he is quite aware of Ida, Damien, and Kawaki's presence. I don't believe he came to the village if he didn't believe he was strong enough to stand a chance, which leads me to believe that he got way stronger in the Timeskip. The only problem I can see with this theory is that the Ten-Tails eye is kind of big, and it might not be able to fit in Code's eye. And the second problem with this theory is that Code taking the Ten-Tails Ren Sharingan might prevent him from being able to feed Boruto or Kawaki to the Ten-Tails due to it being modified. But there are multiple ways the authors could address this or fix this if they wanted to. But there's something that has been bothering me recently, and it all has to do with Ishiki's palace and where the Ten-Tails resides in. We know that Code has access to Ishiki's palace and has been going there for a while. He was instructed by Ishiki to guard the Ten-Tails ever since they found out that Sasuke has been there in the past. This means that Code must have been familiar with this location. This leads me on to the biggest mystery of Ishiki's palace, which deal with the Otsutsuki tablets, and to be more specific, the missing Otsutsuki tablets, which have been destroyed or slashed up. And recently, what has been bugging me is that every time I take a look at these destroyed tablets, I keep thinking about Code's claws, and how it is possible that Code is the one who ended up slashing up and destroying the Otsutsuki tablets, probably because Jigen instructed him to do so. To me, this is very interesting, as if Code is the one who destroyed these Otsutsuki's tablets because of Jigen's orders, just like Boro was tasked to destroy Ida and Damien. Is it far-fetched to believe that Code knows something about these Otsutsuki's? Because after Code lost to Damien, he doesn't seem to worry too much, and he believes that he hasn't lost quite yet. But at the same time, he acknowledges Damien's strength, saying that he was outclassed. So he must have known that sooner or later he would have to confront Ida and Damien. But Code is not scared, and this may be because he has one last trump card that no one is aware of: the missing Otsutsuki's, the threat that may very well lead to the destruction of the Hidden Leaf, as Code may have formed a pact with these Otsutsuki's, but at a cost, which is his eye. This may seem kind of gory, but to me it is very interesting and a genuine possibility, as we know how evil the Otsutsuki's are, and for Code to get their help, he would have to lose or sacrifice something that he holds dear to himself, which may end up being part of his sight, which is one eye. I believe that Code could end up doing something like this in the Timeskip, because he is alone, and the only thing that allows him to keep moving forward is his goal of becoming an Otsutsuki. And giving up his eye is nothing if it means he could have the power necessary to accomplish his goals. This is why you have to watch this video right here as I discuss who the missing Otsutsuki's could be.